Today is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Am I right?
Yeah, I love to sing that to Lucy Ray when I get her from her nap.
It's beautiful. All right, today we're going to talk about Lucy Ray and her first 15 months, basically.
Basically, we're going to be telling you our sacred story of our family.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like this. Just jumping right into it because we got a lot to tell you.
Yeah, it's true. No time to waste.
And it's a very fitting day because...
Don't show it because that's her legal document. So
you got it. I will keep this secret. But what day is it? It's November 22nd, 2024, which is the day that this secret documentation came home, which is a reprinted...
updated, accurate birth certificate with our names on it. Yes. So, okay, if you're really lost because Josh has given you no information so far what we're actually talking about, we are so blessed to be parents to our beautiful miracle daughter who we adopted. She has an incredible, unique, and miraculous story. I'm going to say miracle a million times because her whole life.
Yeah, it always feels the most fitting.
Yeah. And so we wanted to record this months ago, but we didn't want to wait any longer to record it because we want this to be as fresh as possible. We're just over a year since we brought her home, really. And we want to be able to record this not only to share the faithful testimony of God and what he's done in our lives, but also I think about one day Lucy Ray being able to listen to or watch this video and see how excited we are and so thankful we are to be her parents. So Lucy Ray, if you're watching this one day,
you're the sweetest.
We love you so much.
We love you very, very much. Hi, baby. No longer a baby.
Oh.
What size are you?
Oh my goodness. So we'll start with some background.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be really easy for me to jump all over the place. So Taylor Ray's got timeline notes that'll keep us going, and then I'm gonna respond as needed.
Yeah, please, that would be awesome.
Take it away, baby.
So I know that you're very capable of jumping in with your fun thoughts throughout.
We will eventually make it back to my secret birth certificate.
Yes, that was today. Let's rewind to about 2 years ago. I guess not quite 2 years ago. We started doing fertility treatments. Well, we had been trying to get pregnant for 3 years until the day that we brought her home, pretty much about exactly 3 years. It was the December before. So, okay, but let's put it in context. This is December of 2022. After a couple years of trying and doing some naturopathic fertility treatments, we started doing more intense fertility treatments, meaning putting me on medications that made me feel horrible. Basically, practically every single month, I felt pregnant. And by that, I mean every pregnancy symptom you can think of, I had. So nausea, hardcore. There was times I was running out of church because somebody spilled coffee and the smell of it made me like gag and I ran to the bathroom dry heaving. So sorry, it's disgusting. It really was. And that happened like every month. Mood swings. You can ask Josh. Please ask Josh and not me. I'm not a good witness for this, but I'm typically not ruled by my emotions. I'm just not the type of person.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
For that time,
it's hard for me to say right now, reflecting back, because I don't remember a lot. There was a lot of emotions and changes. Because it was a monthly letdown for both of us, plus you feeling terrible, like increasingly over time. So it was just a tough time overall. I don't remember specific swings.
Well, thanks. But we got a naturopathic supplement to help with my mood swings. It worked great. It's like Pulsatilia, one of those. Really good. Anyways.
At what point in here do I get to be the doctor and inject needles?
Oh, yes. That was July. So we go forward several months. In July, we got to me doing progesterone injections, which a lot of women, when they're doing IVF, they'll do progesterone injections for ovulation and different things. We weren't doing IVF. That was never part of our fertility treatment whatsoever. But one of my big issues hormonally is that my body just won't produce progesterone. And so we tried a million different ways to increase my progesterone and for me to ingest progesterone. That finally my doctor was like, let's just try injections and just get it right into your bloodstream. So Josh had to stick a needle in my very upper thigh / buttock region.
Yep.
And it was really painful. It really sucked. And that was one of the worst. July was one of the hardest months, which is, I think, next on my... Oh, actually, sorry. Before we get to July, so yeah, that's just a little bit of a picture of how difficult that was. we'll have another episode that we recorded before we brought Lucy Ray home. That's yet to be posted at the time of recording this, but hopefully it's out by now. And that talks more in detail about our fertility journey.
Yeah, I'm ssure that'll be there. The figuring out the timeline from right now is kind of difficult.
But I did want to mention a really important aspect of our fertility journey before we move on to Lucy Ray is how much our community and our church was there for us through all of our infertility. And they still are, like, they still pray for us as we would love to have more children. And one of the really incredible ways that our church not only individually was praying for and reaching out to and connecting with us, but just the model of our church, how healthy and biblical our church is in rejoicing with those who rejoice and weeping with those who weep. There was a sermon that our pastor gave. It was the week after Mother's Day, which was obviously a really hard week the week prior. And so we went to church and I was like, I am not going to cry today. I'm just not feeling, I bawl my eyes out at church every single Sunday. I'm not doing it today. And then the sermon, of course, like wrecked me. But at the end of it, our pastor asked for those of us in the church who are in the middle of a season of suffering could stand up so that way the people around could lay hands and pray over us. And I was just like, in my mind, I was like, Lord, I don't want to be that person today. I want to pray over somebody else. I don't want to be the sad person in church today. But I was so heartbroken, and Josh was too. But I just like sat there with my head down crying. And then our awesome pastor, Pastor Nick, is a legend. And from the stage, saw me and he said, from the stage, Taylor Ray, I know it's hard, but can you please stand up? And Josh stood up and like helped me stand up as I'm weeping, I think loudly in my memory. But it was awesome.
Yeah, and definitely one of the most loving, sweetest moments we've ever experienced.
Yeah.
And to be such a clear reflection of the hands and feet of Christ that the church and the community is called to be, that was amazing. And I think if I'm remembering correctly, I was at a time, because if I did a quick summary from the very beginning, it's like we had been married for near 2 years, probably, when we really decided
we weren't just like, we won't use birth control. It's also like, let's actually like go for this. Like, let's really try.
Tracking ovulation, trying to get pregnant.
Yeah, my lack of ovulation.
At first, it's exciting, and it's just the anticipation each month, but also like, oh, it's okay. Yeah. We'll try again. But then you do that a dozen times, 24 times, and it goes into, for me, what was the biggest challenge was just ending up in total apathy. Like, why even rejoice in hope? Like Romans 12. I'm just going to think, well, it's probably not going to happen at this point. So I'd rather just erase all emotion from the equation and detach myself. And that's where I think if I remember correctly, I was ending up just kind of coming out of that when that happened at church, where I had been reflecting on, I was constantly doing it's Romans 12:12, rejoice in hope, be constant in prayer,
rejoice in hope, be patient in
tribulation, be constant in prayer. And I was saying that multiple times a day, every day, and especially stuck on the rejoice in hope. Like, look forward, be thankful for where the Lord has you, and that everything is provided out of his hand, from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen. And rejoice in what is to come in each day. So that's where I was kind of like spiritually battling out of that.
Yeah, if you never have expectations or never like trust that the Lord can do something good, then you're not rejoicing. You're not rejoicing, and you're not having hope. So you needed some spiritual reform in both areas, and the Lord really came through and changed her heart and was such a support to me when I really needed that. Because as a woman, if you've ever gone through infertility, it can feel really, really lonely and isolating, because there's no way for your husband to relate in a lot of ways. And so when you were checked out emotionally a little bit there, that was definitely difficult. And so, the Lord really grew us, and thankfully through our church community. Before we keep going, I wanted to just read a little like journaling thing I did that day from church, and then can keep going, because it's kind of a big picture thing. So let me read this real quick, and then we can keep going on the story. We'll move on from infertility. Okay, so I wrote, "This is church. Today, our pastor asked for those in the room who who were in a really hard trial, waiting on the Lord to stand up. Several people began standing, even though there were tears running down my face, thinking about the times I've cried out to the Lord over and over again for the same thing. I didn't want to stand. I was okay today. I hadn't been broken down sobbing during worship like I had the week before on Mother's Day. I'm not dying or being betrayed. I'm not suffering like David or the other people in the room today. I made eye contact with others in our church that I knew my heart was aching. I looked down but heard Pastor Nick say, "Taylor Ray, will you stand? I know it's hard." Man, those words were from my Father who calls me by name, my Father who knows that I want to have it figured out, my Father who knows I've been pulling myself away this week, my Father who knows I need my church family to see me and love me, my Father who knows it is hard. That was his grace this morning. My church family stood around me and the others who also stood up as Nick prayed. I was sniffling and crying so much I definitely missed parts of it. I heard the heartbreaking cries of another woman. I didn't want to be the one being prayed over. I wanted to pray over her, but I knew that I needed this. We didn't just pray for healing and to see God move. We praise God for how he has moved and for hearing our cries. We ask that even if he doesn't change our trials, that he would change us, that he would make us more like him. Father, make me more like you. Don't let me become bored of your word or doubtful of your character. God, remind me daily of your love for me so I would crave your presence. Help me to not so quickly forget your faithfulness and love. Help me remember that I follow you. The plans you have for me is unique and purposeful and for your glory. Help me love like you love. Help me trust you. Give me patience and self-control, God. Please never let me stop asking you for things. Never let me believe you don't care. Please empower Joshua and make him the leader you've called him to be. Sanctify him, Lord. Please give us a child, God. Please bless us with a family. I'm going to cry. So we can glorify you with it. Thank you that through the blood of Jesus, I can ask for these without standing on my own righteousness. I offer you nothing that you need. And look at all you've done for me. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes and amen.
Yeah. So we'll come back to my prayers in a minute, but I wanted to begin our conversation about Lucy Ray and that she exists because of prayers like that I have recorded my own prayers, but you and our family and our church and our community and so many people that we don't even know because I've shared a lot of our infertility stuff on social media. Hundreds of people have prayed, and the Lord has graciously answered those prayers in the life of our daughter. So yeah, now we can keep going if you're ready.
So this was, this is the same year. That was May. Okay, so that was right after the Easter, which was probably one of the hardest emotional times. On Easter morning, we actually left a church service. It was just,
it wasn't like the church itself was bad or like the sermon was bad.
It was it was
just crowded.
It was it had to be the busiest service. It was just they were maxing out overflow, so we ended up just leaving already in an emotional like a tough time. And so we went up on this hill where we could see way out into the distance.
It was just raining.
All of the
this was in Oregon
beauty of creation around us. Pouring rain outside, pouring tears inside the car. There was sobbing and prayer, and then worship, singing on our own. It's basically, as far as I know, all we did. And then skip to what Taylor Ray just explained a month after that.
Yeah, there's Mother's Day between then that. So it was a lot, and this was constant. This was monthly. There was months. You guys, actually, Easter, it was the weekend of Easter that my doctor called me. That's why it was so hard.
Yeah.
The day before, my doctor had called me because I had gone in a couple of days prior because my luteinizing hormone, which is like what tells you if you're ovulating, had spiked a second time, which sometimes can mean that you're pregnant. I go to the doctor. We do a pregnancy blood test and a progesterone blood test. And so she said that she'll call me over the weekend with the results because she's very invested and loves us and is so kind. So she calls me on her day off. I didn't tell Josh because if I was pregnant, I wanted to surprise him. But she calls me on Saturday and says, not only am I not pregnant, which all the other doctors in the doctor's office were like, oh my gosh, this could be you could be pregnant. They were all like crowding around and talking to me that Thursday before. And then Saturday she calls and says, not only am I not pregnant, but my progesterone is lower than it was before. So I was going backwards and it was devastating. Also we had a couple of friends who weren't trying to get pregnant, who got pregnant. It was so much. I don't even know how to describe how painful and difficult that season was. So then we get to July, the progesterone injections, so extremely painful. My mood swings are the worst they had been. This was like the hardest time. I'm having like an anaphylactic reaction to the injections, like getting a rash and stuff. So by August, I'd gone back to the doctor and gotten off all like these extra medications. So by August, my symptoms had stopped. End of August, we're back from our trip to Oregon. Prior to us leaving for our summer trip to Oregon, my friend Jessica, who has an incredible testimony of her own, had called me or sent me a message and asked if, her and her husband had been trying to adopt for a year. They're going through the adoption process, and they're all set to go. She asked if ever they get like a hospital call that there's a baby for them, if I could come to the hospital and take photos. And I said, oh my gosh, please, I would love to. I'm about to leave for Oregon, but if we're in town and I'm not shooting a wedding like actively that time, I'm so there. Please let me know. Okay, so we're gone for like over 2 months. Yeah, 2+ months. We get back, and literally, actually, on the drive back, she texts me and says that there's a baby. Yeah. And so she said, I will let you know when I have more information. And then we're back a couple days later. She says, okay, it's like a long story, but we're at this NICU where our baby is at, but it's not official yet. Can you come on this Wednesday or Thursday? And take photos of us getting the final call that the adoption it can go through. And I was like, yes, absolutely. So that was like the day or two later. I look up the NICU. It's like a mile away from us, which is crazy. So then I leave Josh at home to get some work done. And I go, let me see, make sure I'm not skipping
we'd
ahead.
only been home for 2 days, right?
We'd been home for less than a week. Yeah, we had just gotten back. Okay, so then I go to the NICU. She's telling me about the NICU. Usually there's more babies there, but it's kind of slow at that time. There's only one other baby in the NICU besides her son. And her parents are super sweet. She's had great conversations with them, really feel like she's become friends with them. But she's just telling me their story and how it's so sad that they love her so much, but they're not going to be able to keep her. And so we're not going to share like a ton of details about that because that's like their story and not our place to share. But they love her is the bottom line, and they want her, but they want what's best for her. But they hadn't put her up for adoption yet. They are nervous, maybe even scared to call an adoption agency. They just wanted to meet somebody, which they had just been coming to this NICU every single day for 3 weeks, just hoping something would work out. My friend Jessica wanted to adopt this baby, but her adoption agency wouldn't let her because she was already adopting this other baby and didn't want her to adopt 2 of them at the same time, which is whatever. Anyway, so she's telling me all this, and I say no more. I will take her. Josh and I would love to have this baby. And she was like, oh my gosh, you guys want to adopt? And she knew about our infertility. And I told her what we had been telling people for months, if not years, is that we want to grow our family however God wants to grow our family. And if this baby is available, I will take her home today.
Is this how this works?
Yeah. So she takes me down the hall, and we kind of sneak back there and look in her room, and I just see this tiny little nugget of a baby just wrapped in a swaddle on one of those like mechanical swings, just swaying back and forth, and she's asleep. And she's like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. There's always volunteers here holding her. I've never seen this baby not being held. But she was just there by herself, sleeping to this music in the swaying mechanical chair. And she says, okay, the birth parents come every single day. So if you wait here, they'll show up and I can introduce you. And I said, okay, let me call Josh. So I step outside and I FaceTime Josh. I took a screenshot of his face when I called him. And I said, hey, there's a baby here. Do you want to be her parents? And what were you thinking at that time?
So, right now I'm thinking that was when our office was set up in the extra bedroom, which then became the
guest room.
Because
the guest room
the baby room
became the baby room because of the Wi-Fi.
But anyway, so I'm standing up. I can imagine this so vividly. FaceTime call, which we call each other regularly from the store or whatever.
Yeah. We're gone for like 30 minutes. We're like, I miss you.
I figured she was just about to head back. And then there's a baby here. Do you want to adopt her? Hyped. Heart rate through the roof. Yes, of course. I don't know what I said exactly.
Basically.
Something like that.
It was few words, but just agreement.
I was just overstimulated with the prospect, basically.
How is this possible?
And then it was like extreme high to low though, because it was like, yes, absolutely. And then wait, this doesn't make any sense, does it? I don't know anything about this process, but that doesn't really seem possible. Okay. But Taylor Ray went on from there, and I texted some close friends that I knew would pray.
We texted very few people to pray.
Yeah. I called one of my closest friends, talked to him, told him what was going on, and asked him to pray about the situation. Yeah, of course. And then just waited. And then I definitely wasn't getting any work done after that. I don't know. I remember time going by so slowly.
And there was so much work to be done because we just finished our busiest summer season ever.
Busiest summer into the busiest fall, which is to come in the story, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got off the phone, and then I just had to wait till Taylor Ray sent me something, which ended up being much later.
Hours. It was like 4 hours at least.
Yeah, so it ended up, she expected him to be there around 6 based on when they had been there previously, I think.
I don't remember the exact time. But
whatever. The times are kind of irrelevant. It just felt like we were waiting.
It was it was
days.
hours. It was like 4 hours. And then they finally got there. So I text Josh. Like I said, we're a mile away. So Josh comes straight there. And then my friend goes back and says, hey, my friends are here. And they're actually wanting to adopt a child. Would you be interested in meeting them? So they're like, oh, sure. And so we go back there and say hi. We talk to them maybe 5 minutes. They are coming to spend time with their daughter, and they want to see her. And they aren't going to be able to be there for very long. It's getting later in the evening, so the staff is like, we need to have all visitors go who aren't family. And so we only talked to them for a few minutes, but they said, can you guys come back tomorrow? We'd love to talk to you some more. And so we said, yeah, of course, we'd be happy to. And then the next day I called an adoption agency, my friend Jessica's adoption agency. They said, I explained the situation to them. They said, okay, here's the deal. We don't know for sure what this could look like. Potentially, if you try to adopt this baby girl, then what may happen, because you are not certified to adopt, is she may go into the foster care system as you guys are trying to adopt. And if that happens, foster parents may try to adopt. Birth parents might come back and say they want to take custody again. We just don't really know what could happen. If the birth parents are serious about wanting to put their child up for adoption, probably the best thing they could do is just to call us, because we have a whole book of adoptive parents certified and ready to adopt that can take her home right away. I'm not saying you guys can't try to adopt her, but that's a possibility of what could happen. And I said, okay, yeah, we will totally back off. We do not want her to end up in foster care, because that could be so bad. It could be good, but we don't want to do anything that would hinder her from going to adoptive parents as quickly as possible. She said, now, it is possible you guys could take her home. I'm not sure exactly what that would look like, but here's a number for an adoption attorney that we have liked to work with in the past. And that was an act from the Lord. And she gave us the number of our attorney, who is incredible. I call her right away. Her assistant tells me that she'll get back to me as soon as she can. She calls me and says, okay, here's the deal. Okay, well, first of all, at that point, before I talked to her, we're like texting our few friends that know, and we're saying, like, if this is what the Lord wants to happen, pray that just all barriers will be removed. And if it's not what he wants to happen, just to make it plainly obvious to not move forward in this, because we've had enough heartache the last 3 years, but especially the previous several months, that my heart couldn't take it. And so we just asked for the Lord to protect us and her, and just remove barriers if that's his will for us to take her home. So, as you can tell by the pictures behind us, the Lord removed some barriers. Yes. But we'll tell you some specifics.
He said, those aren't walls, you're in a corn maze. I could take that down, no problem. Also, I didn't address at the beginning, since you mentioned it. Look at this cutie between us. I wonder if you can really see it.
I don't know.
But yeah, we set up in here because we got the family gallery wall. So it's a celebration and a reliving of the last 15 months.
So true. So true. So let's see. So I talked to the attorney. She says the first concern is DCS's involvement, because when DCS is involved, which they were, this can make that more difficult if her case is opened. But because she's been at the NICU, she's not left the hospital yet. Her case may not be opened. If that's the case, it could be easier. So she said, we need to get the DCS worker's number, because that'll be the best and easiest way for our attorney to contact them. And because that could be really difficult otherwise. If we meet with the birth parents again, try and get the DCS worker's phone number and a few few details of personal information from the birth parents to get the case information. And then our attorney also said, also, if you get that from them, that's a really good sign that they want to move forward with you. So that was the plan that day. I'm like putting together an adoption profile on Canva and stuff. And then we go to meet with them. Our plan was to meet with them for about an hour, but they're like 55 minutes late, which is totally fine. It worked out fine. So we only get to talk to them for like 5 minutes again. That's the whole point of saying that. So we gave them our little like document thing with our little adoption profile and asked for that info. And they said, oh yeah, of course, like here's the number, here is our info. And so that was really great. Then the next day, so I send that to our attorney. The next day, she calls the DCS worker. DCS workers, if you don't know, are super overworked, really difficult to communicate with because of that, and whatever other reason the DCS workers are really difficult to communicate with. And so that was a nerve-wracking thing. That was a barrier in and of itself. Our attorney calls us and says that she got a hold of the DCS worker, and she was the kindest, best DCS worker she's ever communicated with in her entire career. Okay, that was amazing. DCS worker's like, oh yeah, nope, this would be amazing if we can get a private designated adoption set to go. We would love for that to happen for this baby. Let's do it. And was super cooperative and helpful. So then next, if the birth parents are going to move forward with the adoption, they need to meet with an attorney and sign their rights over to us. And this needs to happen before the baby girl is discharged from the hospital, because once she's discharged, now she belongs to the state, which would make everything way more complicated. We were told that she was supposed to be discharged on the coming Tuesday, which was the day after Labor Day. So it's Labor Day weekend. There's a time crunch. Everyone's gone on vacation. Our attorney is like, I have to find an attorney for them because she can't be both of our attorneys. That's a conflict. So she has to do research to find them an attorney that's going to be in town and available on Labor Day weekend, but she wasn't anticipating that being a very easy task. And our attorney is leaving for family vacation, but she's amazing and calls around and gets that set up. So then we're going back and forth with the birth parents, and we're deciding, should we stay home and get our house prepared if this is what is going to happen, if we're going to have a baby, or we had plans to go up to Pine Top, up to northern Arizona with our really close family friends. They're like, they're family to us. That was already our plan, was to do that. So we're deciding if we should stay or if we should go and spend that time in community and prayer and our very last minute baby moon, maybe.
Yeah, I'm so thankful we did.
Yeah, me too.
And it was such a high stress time because our communication was so sporadic
with the birth parents.
Yeah. Do you have some of those messages? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
prepared? Not on my iPad, no.
Because I wonder where. But the last one, I don't know where you want to begin. You want to skim through that weekend quickly, or?
You can share whatever you want to about that weekend. You should.
Well, it was just so sweet that we had all of the close family there, really, that wanted to pray over us, basically constantly with each new development as we got, because it was kind of like a twice a day we would get a message kind of thing.
We had a phone call schedule that lasted for a short time.
Yeah.
Her birth mom is rightfully being like very emotional about the situation, so it was hard to like talk on the phone and message, and they were having to make this really heartbreaking decision for themselves out of love for this beautiful child that they created. And so it was very emotional for everybody, them and us, and so it was like a lot of pause between communication, but we did eventually get a text from the birth dad that said, everything's working out for a reason, and you guys will have her. Yeah,
I basically said, get excited. She will be your daughter. Don't worry about this. And then that was such a high. Here's another one of those up-down moments, because
we were crying. Josh picks me up, and we're just like crying and hugging. And our friend took a little video of that too, which is sweet.
Yeah, so sweet. And then that night, because we had texted right afterwards saying, okay, we need you to respond to this attorney because of the time crunch, and then we didn't get a response. And I think it was that night that they were the other rest of our family and friends there were watching Over the Hedge, and I remember just all my organs were just swirling around, constantly changing.
It was so hard because we're like, we might be bringing home a baby in a couple days, and so we need a newborn fussy baby. We need to get as much sleep as possible. And we got the worst sleep I've ever gotten in my entire life.
Might as well have been sleeping out in the mud, in the rain.
Oh my gosh. Horrible sleep. It was painful how little sleep we
justifiably got. And then, but at the same time, I wonder if there's something to this. Like we've talked about plenty of times since that the adoption story is so abnormal. Like the Lord at work. That's why it's a miracle. The only way to explain it. So we know so many people that have to do this for years.
Yeah. People will, a birth mother will be a couple months pregnant, pick out birth parents, and then for 7 months, just be like, yeah, I'm going to give you the baby. And then the adoptive parents would be like, okay, we think we're going to get a baby. We can't the birth mom could change her mind. So we can't be overly attached, but we got to prepare. And it's a whole thing. And we did it for 5 days. It was 5 days, and it was the most stressful 5 days.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything, because we haven't done the waiting process, like the hopeful, like 99% certain, but what if she ends up keeping the baby? We still have to be thankful that child gets to stay with its mom, with his or her mom, but we want to be able to take this child home. So it was so compacted. I don't know if that enhanced the experience, but it was also just so new. Like, who knows? There's no way to compare. Yeah, but it was I was just like reading turmoil. Constantly about like newborn babies, and like I was like showing Josh. We definitely learned a lot rapidly. Yeah. And still knew next to nothing, but it turns out. But it's been so great.
Fast forward to our friends having babies after us. We're like, this is normal. Totally. You just don't know what you're doing when you have a newborn baby, whether you had 9 months to prepare or 5 days. It's the same for everyone. But anyways, okay.
One last thing about the weekend, unless you had anything else to say about it.
No, go ahead.
We decided to leave first off, we were...
Are you going to say the song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that written down, actually.
Awesome. So first off, we were already hardly sleeping, so we might as well get up early and go. But we thought it might be Labor Day traffic. The birth parents haven't responded again, so we're going to just go try and meet them. And we're going to get back right away, so we left at like 6 a.m. So we were just cruising. There was no traffic coming back on that Monday. And I told Taylor Ray I'd heard this song that I really liked, and I was going to play it for her. And just like several of Zach Bryan, just like several of Zach Bryan's songs, unnecessary F words that, I mean, the whole song would be improved by removing them. But his creative laziness is not of my concern at this moment. Anyway, still a great chorus of the song.
Yes.
So we listened to East Side of Sorrow.
Yeah.
And the chorus says, the sun's going to rise tomorrow somewhere on the east side of sorrow. You're singing it now, I'm lost. Better pack your bags west, stick out your chest, and then hit the road. And then repeats again. Yeah, I think there's one other line again. But anyway,
just
the main
sun's
thing,
gonna rise tomorrow on the east side of sorrow. That's what just wrecked me.
Both of us were crying.
We just were both. Josh is driving. I'm in the front passenger seat as one sits, and we're just weeping. I think like you pulled over to get gas, and like we just had to stop for a second. I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember the timeline, but that hit. So that song is just in an extra special place.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Even though. Yeah, the rest of the song I don't even care about. Just that line.
It's a great story.
It's so good. Song, so then we come home. We're like cleaning. We're trying to do some really minor preparations and just kind of whatever. We set up these chairs. Actually, I wanted to record our reactions when we got the call, and our chairs have holes in them. So I have some pictures somewhere with that. But anyways, we're waiting for our attorney to call us because the birth parents were meeting with their attorney. And before our attorney called, the birth dad actually... Oh, it stopped.
I guess we don't have to explain how sweet she's been for the year after that.
Yeah. That's implied.
It's a given.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So before our attorney even called us, her birth dad texts us and says that they signed the papers. Instant tears, crying. This is amazing. Our attorney calls us like 2 minutes later to tell us the good news too. And so basically the birth parents, they met with an attorney and they legally and irrevocably signed their parental rights away from themselves and to us. So we have parental rights at that point for this baby that we've never even held before.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. And also crazy they knew nothing about us. Like, I mean, seriously.
Basically. We gave them that packet that said, look how cute we are and we love the Lord and garage sales.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Give us your child.
Yep. And that's it. Like, no background checks, no nothing. It was crazy.
We don't need to give any significant information about the parents. I think one relevant thing, though, is that they're just much older.
Sure.
Like the dad's in his 50s now, I believe. That just helps to explain why they thought basically at this season they couldn't be just starting out over, like taking care of a newborn. That was a big part of the story. I think that's the only real relevant information that's needed for why they...
I don't think they need any information.
Mm-hmm. Helpful. You can keep going.
None of your business. I just think it's their story, but that's okay. I mean, that's true. It is part of it. So anyways, our attorney calls us and she's so sweet. And she says that, you can't tell people how this happened. You can't tell people how this adoption worked out. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, because it just doesn't work this way. People are going to think that this is how adoption works, and it never works this way. We met her 5 days ago. We had no plans to adopt, and now in just a couple of days, we're going to be able to bring her home. It just doesn't work this way. And I just went to our room, and I remember just like crying and praying and saying, like, Lord, it's not supposed to work this way, but you made a way. That's exactly what you do, God, is you make a way. And I thought that I had a prayer written down, but I guess I grabbed the wrong paper. I have a different one. But yeah, I think I journaled it somewhere, and I just remember praying that, like, God, it doesn't work this way, but you work this way, and you've made a way where there was no way. And it's incredible. So
never was Psalm 3, I believe 3, 4, and 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding.
Proverbs 3.
Proverbs. Mm-hmm. Yes, I knew that. Okay. Proverbs 3. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make straight your paths. Mm-hmm. Never been more clearly displayed.
Yeah. He is so good. So it doesn't work this way. The next day we got to go and we got to hold Lucy Ray for the first time, which was so sweet. I was crying. I think it hadn't like hit you yet. You were like, what's happening? At least your face said that.
There was all the extreme emotion of this. It's kind of like a constant, this can't really be happening for the last week because it seemed so impossible. And then suddenly all that weight had been dropped off and it was like, oh, we have to take care of this little human. Look how tiny and fragile and wrinkly she is. Mm-hmm. And I guess I was coming to terms with the reality basically.
Yeah.
When we were first in there holding her.
Yeah. So that was on a Tuesday because the day after Labor Day, and we had been told that she was going to be discharged on Tuesday. But when we got there, they said, "Oh no, she's not ready to go home just yet. We're thinking she'll be discharged on Friday." She just had some like medications and stuff that she was on, and so their plan was for her to be discharged on Friday. It had just been delayed, I guess. And so we're like, okay, so we have some time to get ready. That's not a bad thing necessarily. And they also required for us to have some like trainings and stuff there, which was also a really good thing. If you have been or know a NICU parent, it's really sad to see a NICU baby pretty much anytime a baby's in NICU. But I think inarguably the best part is that these nurses can give you a handbook on how to care for your baby. They're like, oh, this is when she likes to eat. This is what she does. And it's just like they equipped us. We got a baby handbook.
Oh, which accidentally ended up with us thinking that babies know when they need to go to sleep instead of us teaching her how and when to go to sleep.
Yeah,
over
which
time.
is like true and not true because like newborns just kind of sleep all the time. And we brought her home. She was just a day shy of being 4 weeks old. So when newborns are newborns, they do just kind of sleep all the time. And then as she was getting older, she was growing out of that. But also they had a set structure for her as well. So it's kind of twofold.
Yeah. But the first few days, it was like, oh, she's acting sleepy. And then she takes a nap. And then it started getting less and less consistent because we were like, yes, the 4-week-old will tell us exactly what she needs.
Yeah. So then we we didn't do like sleep training or anything when she was 4 weeks old, but like learned how to help her go to sleep and stuff, which was funny.
Yeah, we started the sleep training just after 6 months.
We can talk about that another time. It's awesome.
Day.
Okay, so because that was delayed, us bringing her home, we had a little bit of time to prepare for her. So I just wanted to share a couple things about that few days in the gap. First is that our friend Jessica, who I talked about earlier, who was adopting her baby at the same time, she came by and brought over a bunch of clothes. Do you remember that? In this room?
Oh, yeah.
She had like boxes and stuff of baby girl clothes because she was like, I just felt like I was going to have a girl.
I had forgotten this.
Yeah. So she comes over, brings us a ton of clothes, which was awesome. And so we're talking to her. Like I mentioned earlier, she had said that she wanted to adopt her originally, but her adoption agency said no. And so she asks us about what we were thinking about naming her, or if we were going to keep the name that her birth parents gave her. And Josh and I weren't totally sure yet if we were going to keep the first name that her birth parents gave her, or if we were going to change it to the name that we had picked out when we got married. Like it was on our honeymoon that we decided on what if we had a daughter, what we would name her. And so her birth parents named her Paisley, and we're like, Paisley Ray, we like that. That's cute. That's not bad.
Very cute.
But
Country
Lucy
star.
Ray we had picked out since for 5 years at that point. And so we weren't 100% sure, but we were leaning towards using the name that we had picked out. So we're explaining that to her, and as soon as I said Lucy Ray, Jessica just gasped, like she screams, because she said, that's what we wanted to name. We wanted to name her Lucy. And I thought that was so cool because it's like, okay, that's her name. Like, not only did we feel like that was her name, but so did a sister in Christ who loves her too.
Yes.
Wanted to name her Lucy. So I thought that was really cool. That's something that the Lord has for her.
Mm-hmm. And take note, if you didn't already know, there are no coincidences.
Yes.
That's not how this world works.
Yeah. So that was really incredible. So her name, her name is Lucy Ray Paisley. So Paisley is her middle name to honor her.
Which brings me back to my secret certificate of life birth from the state of Arizona Health Services. I was just thinking this was going to tell us, this doesn't have any stats about, I thought it would show the height and weight, but it doesn't. But it does tell me that she is a single female.
That's good.
What does plurality mean?
We don't have time. We got to keep going.
That's fair. She was born at a certain time in a certain place.
He just cut this because I wouldn't let him tell you guys her birthday.
She was born at 3:41 p.m. though, on some unknown date.
Top secret. Okay. Okay. Last couple things I wanted to say. We had a couple days where we're like, okay, when we weren't going to have a couple days, we're just going to bring her home and surprise everyone, including his sister, who was living with us at the time.
Oh yeah, I would love to tell this story.
Yes.
But
so
set me up.
Okay, so we were just like, okay, now we have to wait till Friday. So we have a few days we need to like get a nursery ready.
Oh wait,
but
you did mention that the NICU was like a 2-minute drive from our house?
Yes, it was a mile away.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So because we had until Friday at this Tuesday, we were like, okay, we need to get the nursery ready. Jenna is living in the nursery, so we need to move her to the other room so that way her room can become the nursery. We can't like not tell her that this is happening before we bring her home, but we wanted to surprise everybody like with her because it's better to show than to tell. And so we have lots of stories to tell about the surprising everyone, but we decided that we needed to tell her before we brought her home, but we didn't want to just tell her. We wanted to show her. So you can say how we did it.
Well, as with the typical 8 days of preparation for a baby, you do really surprise everybody.
That's true. But we wanted to like show as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. Every call was so cool because there was such anticipation.
Yeah.
The butterflies.
And if anyone like knew that we had a secret or were going to like tell a surprise, it was that we were pregnant. Like that.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, I thought there was a surprise."
Things that actually happened in reality.
Whole baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so tell the Jenna story.
Oh, the speed grow. It's like those little sponges you put in the
Okay,
water.
I will start to tell the story. So basically, I had a sweatshirt that I had bought for her that said Cool Ants Club, real cute. Don't know if I've ever seen her wear it, actually. Jenna, calling you out.
Step up, girl.
But I bought it for her because we've been trying to get pregnant for 3 years. If we got pregnant, I wanted to be able to tell her right away. Because not only is she Josh's sister, she's like one of our best friends, and we wanted her to like know immediately. And so I was like, I'm going to be ready. But then I had a baby. So we had the sweatshirt, and you can tell the story.
And Jenna is definitely worthy of the Cool Ants Club emblem.
Yes, she's the best.
It's the best of the best. But okay, from my view, so we decided we were going to have Jenna come see the baby on that. Was it Friday? I think
it was. No, it was Wednesday.
Cool. More relevant information.
Well, we brought her home on Thursday, so it wouldn't
yeah, that
make
makes sense.
Okay.
So we got up before she did Taylor Ray. We went together, right?
Yes.
To the NICU, made sure everything was set. Let them know we wanted to surprise my sister. Mm-hmm. She's going to come down there.
The nurses were so excited.
Yes, they're very excited. So one of them recorded actually her coming in, which is great that we have that because I was supposed to record from my side and I just didn't think about it at all. And so anyway, I drove back here. I went in and tapped on her door. She was debatably awake at that point. She's a big sleeper. And I said, I had to come back and get the big car. This is the best story I could think of in the
you did great
on my drive.
She's half awake. Totally believed you.
True. Do I have to change? That's the main thing she asked me.
Yeah, she's wearing her Crocs and her PJ shorts. Yeah.
You look good, sister. And anyway, I told her I had to come back and get the big car because we found something awesome at a thrift store. And
pretty much.
And so she's like, yeah, no problem. I trust you, brother. And then she got in the car with me. We drove over there. I said, okay, you're going to see it right out front of the building. So you got to close your eyes. So then I walked with my arm on her shoulder.
So sleepy, unquestioning. Okay.
Yeah, walking across this like grass field between the buildings. And then into the door, I said, you can open your eyes.
And then I have the baby. I'm wearing Lucy Ray in a wrap. So like stuck to my chest. She's a little tiny bean just sleeping on my chest. And I was holding the sweatshirt up over myself, like up by my shoulders, like just to show her what it says. And then we open the door and she walks in and Josh says she can drop her eyes. So she sees the sweatshirt. I give her like a second to read the sweatshirt. As soon as I saw that she had read it and she was like, oh, I'm gasped. I dropped the sweatshirt so she could see the baby. And she was shook.
She said, what?
No, she said, are you serious? Yeah, this is the most special thing. So yeah, that was really sweet. We've seen that video a million times.
But, it's the best. Honestly, a pretty legit reaction for how confusing of a calculation that
yeah, she did great. Yeah, so we told Jenna. She was so excited. We hung out there for a little bit. I just want to kind of wrap up the story a little bit. But then we surprised as many people as we could. We FaceTimed Josh's parents that night, or the next night, because we brought the baby home, the baby, Lucy Ray. She was just a whole different baby then. Now she's a whole toddler. But we brought her home. My friend Sarah is amazing and took photos of us bringing her home, which was super sweet to have. We've got one up there, which is, I'm sure, out of frame, but of us leaving the NICU with her in her little car seat. And then we did newborn photos at home a few days later with Sarah. So yeah, I'm so thankful for her. She's taken so many sweet photos for our family. Anyway, so she's there and we FaceTimed Josh's parents. That was iconic. We'll have to post the compilation of all these surprise videos we have. We lost a bunch of them to my phone and T-Mobile and a whole thing, but whatever.
Yeah, we definitely stunned my mom.
Yeah, sure, her jaw dropped and it didn't close for the rest of the phone call.
She hasn't closed her mouth since almost a year and a half.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so that was great. And then we went and surprised my parents the next day. I told them that we had a surprise, so they thought that we were pregnant. And then we walked in with the car seat, and my mom thought that it was a baby doll in the car seat, and then realized it was her grandbaby, and that was awesome. And yeah, FaceTime friends, showed up to people's houses. Carlos and Danny, they thought we had something from a thrift store as well, came out, and Carlos goes,
"You steal that from a hospital?"
And I was like, kind of.
It's the best way, easiest way to explain it, really.
Yeah, for real. So it was amazing. So that was Thursday night. We brought her home. Sunday, we showed up to church with her at the end of the last service to surprise as many people as we could, and our pastor and stuff. So that was really, really special. Something really cool before I forget is that I mentioned it was the December before that we started those fertility treatments that made me feel so sick. And those stopped. All those symptoms and everything that I had stopped in August, and our baby was born in August. So if you're counting, that's 9 months of pregnancy symptoms, and then our baby was born, and then we brought her home just shy of 4 weeks later. So
equals no coincidences.
Yes.
But I'm so glad you remembered to share that, because that is incredible.
Yeah, it's so incredible. It's amazing, because during those months I was just crying out to the Lord, like, Lord, I understand waiting, but this just feels mean, and I don't understand why you would allow me to have this bait and switch every single month. This is so painful. And the Lord doesn't always reveal to us why he allows suffering. But when he does, we just have to cling to that, because I just never... But it's only been a year and a half, but anything that's happened or any stress, I just don't doubt that God's has a purpose for it, because he had a purpose for my physical and emotional pain in such a sorrowful time. Like, yeah, he has a purpose for everything.
And it's so sweet to look back on just before she was born and after she was born, but we didn't know about her yet.
Yeah.
And the things
like
we
what
were
we
doing.
were doing. Yeah.
It's wild.
It's so special. So yeah, so we surprised our church, and then a couple of days later, one of our pastors called Josh and said, "What do you need?" We had posted on Instagram at that point and had a Give, Send, Go, which is basically GoFundMe, but for Christians. And people were donating. Our church called, like I said, and they donated thousands of dollars to us. They paid for some attorney fees. And so she was totally paid for. Our adoption fees, if you don't know, adoption is crazy expensive usually, but because of the quick pace of this, because of it being a private designated adoption, and because our attorney's fees actually aren't even really that bad, it's pretty
and then the only other fees were the home study to clear us for being able to adopt.
So we'll explain that too really quickly. So a couple weeks into having her home with us, our attorney has set up an appointment for us, a court hearing, which was just a Zoom call. So we had a Zoom call with the social worker who helped us with our home study, which is basically like what certifies you to adopt, our attorney, and the judge. So there's this Zoom call. It takes less than 10 minutes. We say yes, yes, no, no to a bunch of questions. And then we had official temporary custody, quote unquote. So that way we can make like medical decisions and stuff for her. So that happened. And then we had a space like pretty much as long as we needed to. I was really hopeful we were going to get it done really, really quickly, but then we went into, like Josh said earlier, finishing up our busiest summer season into our busiest fall wedding season. So we had so much work and a newborn baby, and we were just trying to survive.
Yeah, we were constantly, as expected, sleep deprived, which translates into I was sick monthly.
Oh my gosh, Josh was sick all the time.
Working, and then we had to basically just trade off with the sad baby and try and take naps. And thankfully, we were able to work from home and share that so well.
Yes, and not just us, but like Jenna, our friends and our family, our church community. We had so much help. And meals being dropped off. I was like, we don't need a meal train. Meals are easy. Like, I'll just eat chicken nuggets every day. It won't be that helpful. But one of our friends set it up for us, and that was actually really incredible. So,
but a quick note on sleep deprivation: it goes by so fast.
Yes,
and then she's just an angel.
Yeah,
it's just so worth it.
And she was going through a lot because she was at the NICU and she went to a strange home with people that she didn't know at the time. So it's like she was going through it. And
now she gives me kisses at Costco when I ask her to.
Oh, she's so cute. Yeah, she gives Josh's kisses and she gives me big hugs, but she doesn't really do the reverse as much, which is funny.
But she's such a blessing every day.
Yeah. So anyways, I just wanted to share, so we posted on Instagram, and our church shared that with our church and everything, and our church and literally random people from Instagram I'd never met before.
Plenty of people we didn't know, plus family and friends.
So many people came around us.
So everything really was paid off by our community.
Yeah, not just paid off, but like clothes, rocking chair, crib, like everything was like dropped off and donated to us because we had no time to prepare. We weren't financially prepared for a newborn baby, an adoption, and all of that stuff. And the Lord provided through the hands and feet of his people. So we praise God for that and are really thankful to him and to our brothers and sisters in Christ who provided for us.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to that.
And as a side note, kids cost as much as you can afford.
Yeah. So
it helps to have great community.
We're 20 minutes past when we needed to get Lucy up from her nap.
That's true.
But
she's been sleeping around on the other side of that wall.
Yeah.
This whole time.
So anyways, anything you wanted to get? Oh, so we had temporary custody, and then about a year after we brought her home, we had our final hearing with the court. So she's totally legit. New name and everything, all finalized and good, and she's ours. And we had no fear of her like going anywhere in the meantime before that final hearing because she was ours.
True.
Like we had parental rights.
That was such a relief to have.
Yeah, and which also made us not get it done really fast because we were really busy.
So about 6 weeks ago, the adoption hearing. Today, which is so cool to record this on that day.
Sure.
Which I'm pretty sure I said this exactly at the beginning, but officially have our names on her birth certificate, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So some kind of further legal power there. Sweet.
It's good to have now when we fly with her and they want to see your birth certificate.
That is so funny. I'm sure not many people have to go through this experience, but going to the airport, and then when the counter assistant just casually says, "Can I see her birth certificate, please?" It's like, I was not prepared for that to be the first question. And then the first time we had this happen, it quickly descended into, you can just show us pictures of her from social media. Or
yeah, it was like
what?
I said,
You started with birth certificate?
We don't have a birth certificate because she's like, we're adopting her, but like she is ours, and like we just don't have the paperwork right now. And she's like, well, do you have like a post from like when she was born on social media? I said, well, I have a post from when we brought her home. She's like, that's fine. I said, this is so fake. They're just trying to prevent child trafficking, which I respect, but it's just not super legit. Okay.
Instagram.
We need to get the baby, so we need to.
Same.
Yeah. So anyways, all of that to say, every single day we hold a reminder of God's faithfulness in our arms and never have a reason not to trust him. The greatest gift that the Lord has given either of us is our salvation, our relationship with him, so we can know him for all eternity and walk with him. But after that, he was so generous to give us even more. He gave us each other. He gave us our daughter. And even if he never does another single thing for me, he is good. That's a worship song that we would sing at our church it felt like every week. And I was like, you guys are being mean to me, I swear. Because we were going through infertility. I would just cry my ever-loving eyes out to that song and just say, Lord, if you never do another thing for me, you are good. And it's so hard to sing that when you're in the middle of such heartache and longing and waiting. But it's so true. And now, like, as of right now, I'm still infertile. Like, we don't know what the future holds. And we desperately want to have like as many kids as we can responsibly have. Yeah. But we trusted the Lord to grow our family before, and we trust him to grow it still if that's his will. So if you've made it this far into the episode, please take a moment and pray for us that the Lord would give us more children, because we would love that, however he wants to do that.
Yes.
And we would really appreciate your prayers. What do you want to say to wrap it up?
I might as well not say anything else.
Okay.
We've pushed too far. We got to go get that baby girl.
We do have to go get her. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening to this very special episode. This is just a piece of our secret story. Like I said, we have more. We have the story of our salvation and of our marriage and of all these things that the Lord has done, the story that he's writing for us. And the best story of all is that Jesus came and died for us, and we get life through him. And we're so excited to spend every episode talking about that sacred story. And but this is just such a special one that we were really happy and excited to share with all of you. So thanks for listening. And we will chat next time on Sacred Story Collective Podcast.
Again, so many syllables.
Okay, you're going to have to get over it.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.